come once again to discuss things.
Let's go ahead and get started. Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is Milan Jeftik 1992, Steve Baxey, and a special guest who is on here for the very first time, and this might even be his first time on YouTube. You saw him fly in the intro, and he, I assume, enjoyed that. CJ! Hello, CJ.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, good. You know, except for the whole Milan thing, otherwise.
Yeah, and CJ is apparently a black man, and
yes.
like that's awesome.
Very awesome.
So CJ is. I've known CJ for what do you think about 2.5 years?
2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah, we've been working at Goodwill for about 2.5 years now, and you know, we're both into superheroes. I more so than him, but CJ really likes superheroes and all that stuff, and so we have a lot of cool conversations about that at work. And also some really interesting conversations about race. And I figured this would be a great video to have him on if he was willing, and CJ was willing, so he's on.
Yes.
So I figured it'd be a really good topic to have him on. And Milan, what is it that we're discussing today?
Today we are discussing the Black Panther animated series, or as it's also called, the Black Panther Marvel Knights motion comic thing.
Mm-hmm. And this came out in what, 2009?
I believe so,
2010.
Oh, okay, 2010.
2010 in Australia, that is, and then 2011 in America.
Yes,
oh, wow,
that's right. Funny thing is, I first saw it like on my TV on this kids channel, and like it was at about 5 o'clock, and it's all like I'm watching it, and I'm like, what the hell? What's that? Is somebody watching TV or an echo or what's going on? It doesn't matter.
Let's keep going.
Don't worry. But basically, I saw it on TV, like it was about 5 o'clock or something, and I'm like, oh, cool, what's this? And the advertisements yelled like, it's Black Panther animated series, and I'm like, that's a goddamn motion comic. And first I was all like, I was all like hoardy and stuff. And then I saw it, and I'm like, fucking Black Panther beats the shit out of Captain America, and guys' heads get decapitated. And there's a bordello and a Russian lady with boobs and horrible, monstrous things, but also fun, super... Yeah, and I looked at it and I'm like, how the hell did this get on this kids channel? I mean, there's guys getting heads chopped off. There's some dark freaking stuff in this thing. Like,
it's Australia, they don't care about their children.
I suppose so.
They have public PSAs about not skipping school where kids go onto a fucking minefield by accident.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they live with kangaroos, so honestly, is Black Panther really that much of a stretch?
Well, not really. I suppose all children are given a machete to defend themselves against the koala menace.
No, they're not given one. They're just born with one. When you get a machete in the womb.
Oh, definitely. It kind of forms naturally from souls and fats and whatever.
Yeah.
So you just kind of erupt from, the womb with a friggin' machete in one hand and a gun in the other, screaming like Aussie catchphrases and stuff.
Possibly a fedora. So, you just gotta be born with those. Those are a little more about gender traits and such.
Anyway,
pretty much.
But yeah, to throw in with Milan there, this is one of those things where, like, the animation style can be really off-putting at first because it's sold to a lot of people as an animated series, and I suppose it is, but it's definitely more of a motion comic.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually what kind of confused me when Milan last week said we were discussing this, which wasn't posted because of an audio error. In any case, when Milan said that we were posting this and or we were doing a discussion on this, I was like, oh, wait, motion comic? Because I'd always heard of it as an animated series, but yeah, you can really call it either way, but I think motion comic's a better way to sell it for people because then they don't expect, good quality full animation, as opposed to this kind of like, I don't know what you would call this, like very very reserved animation style, where it's like only what needs to move is moving.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if I'd go as far as to say like you could go either way between motion comic and animated series, because it's a flat out motion comic. It's based on a 6-issue story arc, adapted into 6 episodes, and it wasn't planned to go before that or after that. It's a literal adaptation, with the exception of a Juggernaut, and it all it really does is take those panels and those dialogue balloons word for word and translates them. It's not really a series.
Well, see, I didn't know that, so there. How about you, CJ? Which one would you consider this?
Motion comic, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just to me, I mean, there wasn't much movement as it would be in a regular, like a Boondocks or something like that, but, I mean, I've thought of it as a motion comic, but, I mean, I'm not as, you guys know more about it than I do, so.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know a ton about it, obviously. No, but I guess I was just, I initially found that kind of off-putting. So this would be the second time that I've watched through this, I should mention. I watched it when it was originally posted on Netflix, and I don't think it's there anymore because I had to download it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and I watched it when it was originally posted, probably back in 2011 or whatever, and I really... at first I didn't enjoy it, and I found a lot of stuff off-putting, the animation style being one of them. But rewatching it this time, this is really good.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, that's the thing that really kind of won me over. Like, I was expecting, Black Panther and, this and that, and I got that. And the animation is kind of choppy as it was. It kind of grows on you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, holy shit, this is written really well. Who wrote this? And then it's just Mark Millar. And I'm like, that explains the dead children. And
wait, where did it say Mark Millar? Because Mark Millar is not part of this at all.
At all? Who wrote this?
No. This is a Reginald Hudlin story, and the art's all by John Romita Jr. Where did Mark
Reggie Hudlin? Oh my God, yeah. I know John Romita Jr., but really, wow.
No, there's no Mark Millar in this at all.
I thought for the longest time I thought it was Mark Millar because it just it has that really fun adventure feel, and it's written from that really interesting globalist perspective, and I'm like, but you have these really dark parts in it that are do kind of fit and add to the overall world building. But sometimes I feel are just kind of a little bit out of place, are a little bit too dark, unnecessarily so. But I'll get to that later.
The stuff with the soldiers?
Not with the soldiers. I mean, the soldiers are fine. This was written, at least during when the Bush administration was finishing over. And I'm like, would Americans steal the bodies of their dead and reform them into horrible undead cyborgs for military purposes? Sure. But, but it's just
wait,
what
you mean
really...
this isn't a factual account?
Exactly. But what really fucking got me was T'Challa's brother dies when his father is assassinated, and I'm like, holy shit! And they show him with a piece of glass sticking out of his head. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Do you really want to? Yeah, you just see fucking T'Challa's brother on the floor as a little kid with a glass thing sticking out of his head. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Is this really necessary? Good God! And he's never mentioned again. It's just here's a dead kid. I'm like, fuck, no, what? And it makes you hate Claw even more. But and it just it adds. Claw is such a cunt. Jesus Christ.
But he's such a good villain, though. He's just he's got it all. He's got financial motivation, personal motivation, family motivation. It's all there. It's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, all right, so I'm trying to think of a good place to really start getting into this. So I guess let's go around and say what's your favorite thing about this series and then least favorite thing. And I guess I'll start. My favorite specific thing is just the overall tone and the fun adventure, yet serious and kind of grounded and interesting points it's making. both in its political satire and its social critiques, and from moment to moment. And I guess my least favorite thing is the voice actor for Captain America.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, you mean
So
Batcab? It just sounded like Dirty Harry wanting to be Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Captain America scene overall, but like that voice actor is, wow.
It's actually the guy, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's the guy who voices Iron Man currently.
How weird.
Yeah.
Hope he's better at that.
No, not really, but because he does a really pseudo Robert Downey Jr. impression. So that's even worse.
Yeah. I don't know. This is like painful to watch when it comes to the Cap scene, just because of the voice acting. But otherwise, it's such a good scene, and it's like, oh no, come on. Anyway, so that's for me. CJ, how about you?
I would say probably my least favorite part was probably what Milan said was about the kid. That was dark. I didn't expect that. I expected him to like probably die because of what Claw was saying. Like he said, it would be great to kill Black Panther, but it was better to even add more to it. But I didn't expect him to show it. And I was like, But I mean, it's part of it. At the same time, it was a good part to that scene. That was like one of my favorite scenes, even though that was a dark part. But probably my favorite part was just the characters. I looked at Black Panther. This was my first time ever seeing it. I looked at him as like basically, I'm not trying to be like pretty like just playing when I'm saying it, but he was like Batman basically in Africa, like a black Batman. And at first you would think of that as being a joke, but it was like serious, and it was like to most, I've never heard of it, and I'm sure a lot of like black kids here in the United States probably haven't even seen it. And it was something like really positive, but at the same time it was exciting. The villains were great too, so I just liked the whole theme of it since it was my first time even hearing about it. So it was pretty cool overall.
Yeah. All right, how about Steve?
Okay, I guess I'll start with my favorite thing. I love T'Challa's character. He's fantastic. You mentioned he's kind of like a black Batman. I think I'd stretch that a little bit and say he's just as interesting in terms of politics and social commentary and kind of out of his element as Captain America. And there needs to be more Black Panther just overall. Not even talking about we need more diversity in comic books. I'm just saying as a character, Black Panther is extremely fascinating. Yeah. They raise those points about how the Wakandans have the most advanced technology of any country in the world, yet they still worship a panther god, and how T'Challa doesn't see himself that way. It's all just extremely fascinating. The worst thing I want to... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Throw in.
Okay, basically, it's really fascinating because it has that whole kind of... I love it because I love stories that are shown from a different perspective, and I know it's hard to tell. I love it when American media references the rest of the world, and I'm like, yay, we exist, and it's just like, it's just cool. It's such an interesting concept because you have all the the cultural stuff. But you also have the science fiction elements all kind of meshing together. So you're going to get we get the cultural society aspect, but we got the cure for cancer. And that's just a really fun idea. I just like it. I just like stories from different perspectives. And the, Savannah color scheme just really appeals to me.
Okay, go ahead and continue with your worst thing, Steve.
Okay, the worst thing I was going to echo you, Ian, a little bit and say, the Captain America voice actor is bad, but I think that whole Captain America scene is kind of bad. The biggest issue with it that I have is that this is from a Black Panther comic that was in canon back in, 2005, I think it was, when it first came out. And it's nowhere near consistent with what Captain America was, and I don't think the writer... Because I know they're doing political commentary, and I know they're trying to, at least especially with an American character, put America on the back burner and make this more about globalization in general. And clearly putting Captain America in his place a little bit is symbolic of that. It's just you didn't have to downgrade a character to elevate yours. I take that kind of badly, especially considering that T'Challa is just as interesting and fascinating on every level as Captain America. You didn't have to put one above the other.
I didn't think they did. You know, I don't know.
I think Captain America is clearly licking some boots in this.
Yeah, it's not justified. Like, I can totally see Captain America's inexperience. He'd lose the fight, fine, whatever. But they made him a real jerk, and I don't think that's consistent with that character.
I don't think they did.
I don't think it's the...
No, it's just a voice. It's just a voice.
I think so, too. I think it's the voice that made him a jerk, because I think, like, if you were to read those lines differently, it would work. Like, if you were to go, you need to pick a side in a different tone with a completely different voice actor, like, if Chris Evans delivered that line, I think it would sound much more, like, endearing, and it's just, like genuinely concerned about Wakanda, as opposed to just being an asshole about it like Cap is in this.
I don't really agree.
Killed the scene.
I don't really agree. I think just the statement of you need to pick a side comes out of nowhere. Like, really, Wakanda is completely fine by itself, and sure, the Black Panther crossed a bit of a line when he killed those Nazis that Cap needed to question, but there's no motivation for saying you need to pick a side at all, because Wakanda can clearly defend itself.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think he wants Wakanda as an ally.
Yeah, but, like, Cap wouldn't pull people into the war like that. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's against his character to say that.
I don't know. I think that's debatable. Because I could see Cap wanting to make sure that America wins the war. And if Wakanda's the most advanced nation ever, then they would clearly be an asset to the Allies, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but like, at what sense did he get the idea that they would even entertain the idea of going to the Axis?
I don't know, because he's young and inexperienced and hasn't fought Nazis yet.
But he just saw the Black Panther kill an entire group of Nazis to stay isolated. Like, there's no reason for him to say that.
Well, no, he killed the Nazis not just to stay isolated, but because they invaded.
Yeah.
They were planning to steal from him.
Yeah, so why would there be any indication that they were going to pick a side? Clearly all the Wakandans wanted was to be left out of the war.
Yeah, but I think Cap was trying to talk them into joining.
But why would he do that?
Joining the Allies.
But why would he do that? Like, that there's no reason
to say
that.
They'd be a great asset.
Yeah, but Cap wouldn't think of them in terms of assets. If they're not in the war, then you don't drag them to the war.
Fair enough. I don't know. I think it's debatable. We can go back and forth on it, but I think it's debatable. Anyone else want to throw in real quick?
Captain America got his ass kicked, and I'm like, yay! Yeah, I like Captain America. But, yeah, I like that. Yeah, and thanks for the bootlicking thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm dirty. Anyway, but
here we go, CJ. Here's a good Friday reference.
Oh, damn it.
That knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, it is.
That's what we just needed one of the Wakandan guys to say.
It's I just like the tone in this thing. It's just I like the fact, like, they kind of incorporate some, like, hand-drawn animation, but I'm like, if this is what the upcoming Black Panther movie is going to be like, I highly doubt it if it's going to be this politically charged, but if at least, like, visually speaking and character-wise, you can get this type of feel across in the Black Panther movie, I'll be fucking happy. But the thing, but the thing that I kind of dislike, it's weird, like, I like a lot of this, but there are certain things I can nitpick.
Is that Ken?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, basically, I'll tell you later. Basically, what I really like is just the surrounding cast around this whole thing, around T'Challa. But T'Challa as himself, I thought was a little bit too, like, it was basically referenced as the Hamlet of Africa, and I like that, like, that's really cool. But I thought he was a little bit too, I need revenge for my father's killer. And I'm like, yeah, okay. He's not really that complex. But then I saw that scene where he saves that little boy, from the mine collapse. And he just saves him, and he does that whole, takes him, that whole superhero thing, like, takes his masks off and says, you can do anything, the whole Superman spiel. And then I got it. He doesn't have to be all that complex. He's essentially Wakanda's Superman. / Batman / everything rolled into one, and then I got it, and then that didn't really bother me as much.
And the President and the Joint Chief of Staff.
Exactly.
I love the stuff at the White House in this, with the exception of Stan Lee's very, like, absolute worst role Stan Lee has ever played. But I love the rest of the stuff at the White House. Oh my god, that was so cool. And you got to see Condoleezza Rice talk about invading a country in Africa, and it was awesome.
The voice cast in this is pretty good, though. Like, T'Challa's accent was a little bit, like it wasn't really good at times, but when he was on, he was on.
I thought the voice cast was amazing in this, with the
exception
definitely.
Of everyone else.
The one that I think I love the most, even maybe it's just because we got him for the shortest amount of time, but I love the guy that did his father's voice.
Fantastic.
That guy, just like his whole speech, and Wilson Fisk was in the room too, I think, and he just tells them all off. That was so awesome.
Yeah, that was Jonathan Adams, who did Martian Manhunter on Crisis on Two Earths, and he also played Dormammu in the Doctor Strange animated movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's got a really booming, echoey voice, so I can definitely see why that would stick with you.
Oh, yeah.
He was also Atrocitus in the Green Lantern animated series.
Oh, cool.
Oh. I just love the fact that he just travels all the way to the Alps to just fucking just talk some shit to a bunch of rich motherfuckers, like you motherfuckers, like you petulant little bastard, you don't use my first name. Who the hell are you? And I'm like, I like you. And then he gets shot.
DJ, you were saying that's your favorite scene. What about it drew you in so much?
You mean after he talked to the rich guys, or like when?
Or just anything in that scene? Was it the death scene, or was it the
it was the death scene. I know I said it was my worst part. It was just about the little kid, but when Claw burst through the floor, I got excited, and then when the little kid T'Challa, when he was younger, he got the gun, and he said that the kid had so much aim he had to jump out of a 7-story window. Just lets you know, as however old he was, he looked like he was about 10, 9, 11, whatever, and he was shooting a Uzi or whatever type gun he was shooting at the guy, and actually successfully almost killing him. So that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I thought one thing that was interesting about that, just on an actual history note, that it kind of leads me into an overall point I wanted to make about this. So he said he was working for Belgium, which, if anyone knows anything about Belgium's history in Africa, especially their colony in the Congo, and just all the horrible things and genocide and mass torture and basically reinstating slavery in the 19th century that they did. So that was really fascinating, and I think that adds to my overall point, which is the thing I thought most about this show, is I cannot believe that BET produced this.
Me neither.
Because this is so much smarter than everything else they've ever run on air.
I know.
And I'm very disappointed by I'm very disappointed by the fact that it didn't perform at all, because it means we'll never get anything else like that from them again.
Ever.
Oh my god, I was so impressed by this series. It was so intelligent and fun. This was everything you should do with a superhero. It had all the great points about race. It had all the great points about international relations. It had all these really fun elements. I mean, he fights a guy in a robot knight armor riding a flying horse while he's riding a flying motorcycle. That's awesome. It's not pretentious. It's not just, it's not like that high intellect superhero stuff that is really off-putting to a lot of people. It has that in it, but it's also really fucking fun.
Yeah.
This is one of the best, with a couple of small exceptions, the animation being a little off-putting, and, some of obviously the Captain America thing being as polarizing as it obviously is. This is damn near perfect to me, and I can't believe we're never going to get more, and I'm very sad about that.
No, especially because this guy has the premier run on Black Panther as far as early 2000s comics goes. It went for 40 issues, and this is only the first 6.
Oh, that's amazing!
Wow. That's crazy.
I might go pick up the trades.
Oh, dude,
It's
print?
Adapted straight from the comic.
Yeah, they're out of print. But if you can find them, they're totally worth it. There's some fantastic stuff. Even when you get to some of the later crossovers that are terrible, it still does pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they changed from the comics is that Rhino was meant to be in it, but because they wanted to do more of an international thing, they got Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I love the fact, like, when the Black Knight is, like, doing his whole holy war speech. Like, we have representatives throughout the world. We got Belgium, we got America, we got, like, does he say Russia?
Yes.
He said Russia.
Yeah, he said.
So, yeah, but the funny thing is, Russia is represented by a fucking hooker that steals souls. You got the America.
But I thought Russia was the radioactive man.
Well, I suppose so, yeah. But you got America, who's just this unstoppable moron. Belgium, that's just like this terrifying, evil fucking guy behind the scenes. And England, just this righteous fucking zealot moron. And I'm like, you clever boy. You clever writer.
I love that bit of dialogue that T'Challa and the Black Knight exchange after T'Challa's like beating him and he's trying to get him to surrender so they don't kill the horse. He's like, earlier you said that God was on your side, but now that you are losing, does that mean that God changed sides? Or that you're wrong?
Blasphema! It was just a philosophical question. But still, like, T'Challa, the voice actor, is good. Like, I liked him. But, like, at some points, you could hear his American accent coming through. But everyone else was just, like, fucking dead on perfect. I'm like, God damn. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I gotta say, like, I'm gonna look this up. I don't know who voiced this guy. I want to know if he's been in anything else, if he is actually American or African or whatever.
I think he's American.
He is American, as far as I know. He was in Blood Diamonds, and he was in Stargate. He has some movie roles here and there. He's been in Gladiator, I think. And he's gotten some nominations from the Academy. But he hasn't done, like, voice acting ever, as far as I can tell.
Dishman Hussein? He's probably at least, like, actually, like, you know, got family in Africa. That's a very, very tribal name to me. I'm pretty sure this guy's actually at least half African, probably.
Oh, yeah, more than likely. It's just he hasn't done much.
Djimon Hansu, Djimon
Okay, Djimon Hansu, there we go. I think I like...
Kantuno? He was born in Kantunu, Bien... Yeah, he was actually born in Africa, so no, he's full on...
him! I know him! Holy shit! Oh, he was
Yes, I don't think the
Gladiator,
accent sucks at all. I just think it gets a little underplayed sometimes.
Yeah, he's the guy from Amistad and Blood Diamond, and yeah. So he's... Yeah.
I haven't seen Blood Diamond. Is it any good?
Yes, it's
it's real good.
Okay.
It's fucking dark as a motherfucker, and for some reason...
Oh, really? With a title like Blood Diamond, I can't imagine that. I thought it was going to be about like collecting sparkly rocks.
Yeah.
In a forest.
Yeah. But I like the film. It's a good film, but I'm like, fucking... Why does fucking Leonardo DiCaprio get, like, he just becomes not the star exactly, but I was more interested about, like, the boy soldier stuff, you know, that kind of thing with the father and the son. But I'm like, yeah, okay.
Oh wait, that actually reminds me. I definitely want to make sure we mention this. What's the character's name? Is it Ubuntu? The like dictator guy in this?
Nabutu.
Okay. I loved that character so much. Like that little, like, you know, introduction thing they give for him, like it's like a video on the stars or whatever. Yeah. Oh my god, that was such great satire. He started by he made friends all across the world. It shows him like shaking hands with Kim Jong-il, and then all of a sudden, starting with America. Like, yes, exactly. Oh, it was so perfect.
Oh, my God.
And then he's like, my office hours are from 9 to 5.
Yeah, I remember.
And he's like, wait, didn't I kill all the plumbers in my last purge? No, that was the doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Give me yours. Give Claw my best plumber. Let's make it your second best. Someone a little bit more disposable. I was like, ah, you horrible monster.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
the Russian guy with the broken toilet.
Of course. I love it.
loved that character so much. He was such a great little like critique on just everything that goes on politically in Africa. It was so perfect. He was just such an asshole. He got into power the old-fashioned way by killing his father, and he makes himself so happy and upbeat.
And he's like pushing him in. He's like drinking like a Slurpee or something.
It's like, who was there to take that picture?
No,
that was a good character. That was such a so much of this stuff was brilliant. I absolutely adored when Donald Rumsfeld got his short cameo. He was like, "We need to go help our Wakandan allies and start the invasion of, the assistance program to Wakanda." It was so rummy. It was great. And so, Steve, you said this was adapted from an early 2000s run?
Yeah, 2005, I think, is when it started. Ended around 2011. Actually, when this came out, it ended.
But, like, these 6 issues would have been, like, the first 6 months of 2005, then?
Yeah, it's the story arc called Who is the Black Panther, I believe.
So the Obama cameo wouldn't have been in it at all, then?
No, I think it was just George Bush at the end. Because it was still 2005, so it would have to be.
Yeah. Like, I thought the Obama cameo, it made no sense, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was funny.
Hey, T'Challa, my brother, how you doing? Hey.
The cool thing is, though, they do keep a lot of the political commentary from the book on the screen. Like, all those cameos from world leaders are in there, and it's hilarious just as much on page, because they even draw the panels like their TV screens.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's very Frank Miller in that respect.
Yeah, I really did get that impression. It's like it's like a socially aware Frank Miller, as opposed to just like, in his own little head with his...
Or a subtle Frank Miller.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call this subtle, but okay.
But compared to Frank Miller, it's subtle.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Well, everything's subtle compared to Frank Miller.
That's a good point. Actually.
Milan is subtle compared to Frank Miller.
Hey. Oh, come on. Like, I'm like, not, like, am I? Really? Thank you.
Yes.
Wow.
Compared to Frank Miller, you are very subtle and couth and understated.
Oh, thank you, Ian. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Sure.
Take that.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying, but anyway.
Everyone talks so much shit about Frank Miller. Like, why? He's a delightfully crazy person.
You just like him because it means that crazy people can get jobs in the comic book industry.
Oh, definitely. If Grant Morrison can get a job, I can get a job.
Well, Grant Morrison has written everything perfectly, so...
I know. Well,
that's very different.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Anyway, so back to this. No, like I said, I love the political commentary in this because it's just so much fun to watch. Does anyone want to throw in on that anymore?
It's just a part of me thinks like I'm really happy about how well it was structured, but besides, like it fits so well because you think with all the little dark bits, like with the T'Challa's brother dying horribly. And, like, the whole machete to the head thing, and essentially Nazis with their head on spikes. But, no, that's all right. Nazis with heads on spikes, that's fine with me. But it's just, like, I'm surprised they actually managed to get it to work. Like, tone-wise, You can still get that whole fun, riding around on a Panther cycle that can fly, fighting a knight with a Pegasus.
I've already mentioned that. You lose.
I know, but it's just so weird to me because it fucking fits so well. God damn.
Right? Yeah, it was all just the tone of this worked really well, and I think one of the things that helped set the tone so well is all the history we get of Wakanda, and like that opening scene with the warriors getting ready to invade Wakanda, just walking through the field. That was so good. Like, I love that moment. We don't see anything of Wakanda except their spears and their, like, panther's teeth traps. But while the guy's, like, sitting there panting all hard, and then the spear comes and almost gets him, and then he, like, gets up and starts to run, you just hear that voice go, "Tell everyone." I was like, oh my god, yes! Like, it immediately sets the tone of just how, like, this is going to be really serious, but it's going to be really interesting too. But right after that, we start to get, all this great parody stuff at the White House. So you get this sense that it's going to be kind of fun too, and that really awesome but a little bit overused opening credits sequence is really, it all sets the tone for me. It's really fun. It's like a black African James Bond.
Oh my god, I love this song. Da, da, da. I don't want to. I don't want to sing it because I'm white, but it's just like, oh my god, it sounds so. I'm gonna have that on my iPad.
It's like a rap version of the opening to Lion King.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That was a good comparison.
Yeah, I was so hoping to be able to use like a remix or like a cover of it for the show's intro, but I can't find anything, and I'm so disappointed. Because I think it's so much fun.
Although I have one little criticism, but I'm not sure if it is one. Basically, when T'Challa is like a teenage boy when he meets Ororo for the first time, he goes on walkabout, but that's like an Aboriginal Australian thing, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's like there's multiple like the Spartans had a similar thing, but
I think that's a fairly common tribal practice.
I suppose so.
Yeah, especially for crown princes.
Yeah, the whole kind of young man has to prove himself as like king material thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure the Native Americans had that too.
Did they? Oh, cool.
Anyway, now I was mentioning the song to see if I could get Steve to throw in on it, and he hasn't. So I'm gonna have Steve throw in the song because I follow you on Twitter.
Yeah. The song's not my style, but it's so friggin' catchy. I can't get it out of my head. I don't usually listen to end credits. I just skip to the next episode, but I really kept listening to that song because it's good. What's interesting is evidently the writer of that song just made up those words to sound Wakandan. He wanted to make like kind of a language for the show. I guess it never took off though.
Like, what do you mean?
Well, evidently what he did was he found the accent that they use for Wakanda in the show, and he just built a bunch of words that would sound really natural in that accent, and said that the song is sung in Wakandan. So whatever you hear in the song isn't really many words, except for maybe like T'Challa or Black Panther or something like that. Unless it's overtly said in English, it's all basically made up words.
Awesome.
Can you shake your tail, T'Challa? I love that, the little part.
Evidently, though, like a lot of the inspiration he took is from like the Bantu language. And I'm not exactly sure how much of that is Bantu and how much of that is just him making things up. But regardless, it works really well. Like you said, it sets the tone for it perfectly. And it makes the Black Panther seem really, really badass. I mean, that sounds like such a strange thing to say, like talking in hyperbole, but no, he looks like a badass, and it sets the show up really well, and it makes me wish that this was an animated series and not a motion comic.
Like, for me, the only thing I don't like about, I guess, it's mainly in the credits. It's not a huge part of the show, but I don't like the cape on Black Panther. Like, I prefer Black Panther without the cape, because then it's just Batman to me. Like, it's really hard to not just make it Batman at that point. So I really prefer when Black Panther doesn't have the cape. It just sets him apart just enough for me.
I think you're totally justified in that, but the argument I've heard people use for that is that he is a king, and the whole kingly cape is just kind of traditional.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think that it just works better without the cape, just aesthetically.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I like the cape. I like the kind of short, kind of Dracula, what's that thing called? Collar thing he has? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Spawn a little bit, but a little bit, yeah. But I like it. I like the cape when he's like not fighting. I know that sounds weird, but when he's not in action, I like him without the cape. When he's in action, I like him without the cape. But like if he's just standing there or sitting in his chair, I like him with the cape. You know what I mean? It's weird, but
so it gives it like that regal look.
Yeah, exactly.
Fighting. So like, you could totally do an awesome ass fight scene, like like the classic like Bruce Lee stuff where they'd like walk, like size each other up, walk around, and like get ready to fight, like give each other time. You could do that awesome thing like where he takes off the cape, getting ready.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Exactly.
Because, like, he doesn't have it in every scene, like, or at least not every Black Panther has it in this. When we see Cap fight, I guess presumably T'Challa's father.
Yeah, it was T'Challa's father.
Okay. When we see him fight T'Challa's father, he's not wearing the cape, right?
No, he's not.
Nope.
Yeah,
whoa,
so, like,
whoa, that's T'Challa's father?
Was
I
it?
think it's supposed to be.
Wait, no, didn't he say uncle?
Was it his uncle
No,
or his father? I can't
no,
remember.
No, because his father would have been
His
alive,
father
like...
died, right?
Yeah, but that...
No, but like
we're talking about
during
in
World War
II,
II.
though.
Oh,
I mean,
okay,
like-
yeah, that was his dad then.
Really?
It's hard to tell, because it could be his grandfather. We don't really... That's, I think, one of the things that's really interesting about the show, though, is every time we see the Black Panther, it doesn't matter who it is. It's the Black Panther, you know?
Mm.
It's always the same, like, he always acts in the exact same way. T'Challa's no different from his uncle once he's under the hood.
Exactly.
And that was, or what little we see of his uncle, basically. But once he's under the hood, he's the exact same kind of guy, and that's really interesting. And, like, when we get the flashbacks, again, I just love the flashbacks in this. Like, when they're out in the field and the guys are setting up the cannon and the guns, and he's like, you can leave now. I like how passive they are. It's so badass to just be, I'm going to let you walk away from this.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, if that was like T'Challa's father fighting Captain America, and you see him like later on, like look like, assuming this is like years later, because T'Challa must, since this that in 2005 or whatever, it's like, fucking black doesn't crack. Holy shit! I'm gonna marry a black girl just to have my bloodline, like, god damn! Holy shit! Oh, that's amazing! That is a one good 75-year-old. Holy shit!
Yeah, so it could be his grandfather, I suppose. And they also say, like, in the fight for the crown, which was so cool, they also say there hasn't been an upset in decades, so, I mean, it could be T'Challa's grandfather or something. You never really know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. I think that's also part of one of the big appeals for this show, and why it should have worked better on BT than it did, because obviously it, like, you know, as CJ said when we first started, he hadn't heard of this, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this. I was surprised that Milan mentioned it, actually. But, like, there's something just really intrinsically appealing to the idea of, like, an African nation that was never conquered. There's something about that just makes it sound really interesting and really cool. And I think it's like, I'm surprised it hasn't been done more, you know?
Yeah, it seems like such an obvious turn, because whenever you study just globalization, as particularly in Africa, you're always talking about how global influences kept Africa down and stopped it from uniting. And then Wakanda is the exact opposite of that. It's everything every country in Africa wishes it could be. And it still doesn't have, like, the same... It's not preaching about, like, having black role models. It's not preaching about Africa is the best or anything. It's just... It's about nationalism in the most subtle way possible, about upholding traditions and being powerful in that right. Mm-hmm. And it's fascinating that, like you said, no one's done it before because it seems so obvious. It seems like, because, like, you go back to the history of Superman, and Superman's creators are the exact opposite of what he is. You would think that more African writers would come up with the idea that's just as similar.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's really surprising. Because, I mean, just look how well it works.
Yeah, it's great. There is this fantastic Black Panther story from the 90s where he deals with apartheid in South Africa, and that's even good.
Like, what's interesting about this is you cannot conceivably create a scenario in which you make Wakanda look like the bad guys for dealing with European history, African history and European involvement. You cannot possibly create a scenario where the Wakandans are evil, you know? Exactly, yeah. It's just like, it's the best, like, possible setup for, you know, just a great history-based comic book. Like, you know, we get Western comics a lot. I would love to see, like, a History of Wakanda comic. That would be so cool.
Yeah, it would be.
the politics in this are just so interesting. Maybe I can find like a cool rap remix of the Game of Thrones theme.
That'd be tough to find.
I don't know. We'll see. I love so much about this show. Just works that I hate to even talk about the bad things about it because they are so far and few in between. But I think there are just enough things to make this so it doesn't work for a larger audience for some reason. Even though it's like very appealing once you get into it, I still think you do have to get into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I basically think they shouldn't have had it on BET. I know that sounds. No, I'm being serious, dude. Like when did it come out? 2009, you said?
2011 on TV.
Oh.
Okay, so I really wasn't watching BET then. So, I stopped watching BET when I was in like 7th grade, just because most of the stuff on there is like rap video, garbage. So I wouldn't have caught this show, and this is why I didn't catch it. Now, let's say it was on like Adult Swim, or even a Cartoon Network, or like that's the same thing, but if I have VH1, but a Spike or just another show, another channel, I think it would have been a lot better. Because I'm not going to be like, 106 in Park on, and then Black Panther's next. Like, I didn't even watch 106 in Park, so I didn't get a chance to see Black Panther. So
is 106 in Park like the really awful soap opera with black people?
No, it's a bunch of those. I can't even name all those, but like the reality shows like Basketball Wives and Hip. Oh my God, it's just awful.
Bad.
It's just terrible. You get a show because you married a basketball player. That's terrible. So I mean,
we should get a show called Football Wives. It's just to be a bunch of girls knocked out in the elevator.
That was low. That was too soon.
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, but that's one of the main reasons. Like, I'm not knocking BET or anything. It's just a lot of like, if I'm not trying to watch music videos, like that's not my thing. If I want music, I'm gonna just listen to my iPod. So I mean, and BET has a bunch of trash shows now. But I mean, if I would have caught this on BET, it would have been like finding a diamond in the rough. Like, it would have been crazy.
Yeah, like that's the thing I was saying about it. Is just like, I am shocked that this is BET. Like, that's one of the things that I think that also, to your point about it should have been on a different network, I think that in and of itself was off-putting. It's just, BET is doing a Black Panther series. Oh, it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
I just know it's going to be awful.
Exactly.
It just sounds like something they could not possibly do right. And I have no idea how this slipped in there, and it was good.
It was great, man.
So much should have gone wrong with it. Like, Black Panther should have been fucking, like, you know, listening to rap, and there should have been a Kobe Bryant cameo.
Exactly.
Like, this all should have gone awfully wrong.
He would have had his own music video at the end of it and everything. It would have been bad. That's what I would have thought.
Oh, right. Like, that's one of the things I didn't tell you. I don't think when I first told you about this, because, like, I'd shared an episode of this with you a while ago, because it got in my head somehow and I was thinking about it, but I think I specifically made sure not to mention that it's BET.
I wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, like, it's so off-putting that it's BET. It's amazing. Like, Boondocks really had that great take on BET. Is just the creator needs to apologize to the world for making it.
It's terrible, man. This is coming from a black man. Like, it's awful. I won't watch BET ever. Like, I haven't watched it since I was like 10 or 11. It's bad, and it just gets worse and worse.
So, as like a foreigner, like I've heard tell of BET. I've heard the great legend of how horrible it is. And like, my only exposure to BET is from the Boondocks. So is it true that BET is run by a bunch of self-hating, like, you know, black supervillains or something?
Somewhat. I mean, it's a bunch of, like, basically the shows just, they put down black people in, like, the show, like the Basketball Wives show. The women fight over and like throw liquor on each other every episode, and it's like, okay, this is what we're going to show our daughters, and that's how they're going to act when they get older. So it's basically just a terrible show. Like, every show is bad, and they rarely show music videos, and every show is about how much money you have, and if you don't have it, you're nothing, or I can't even explain it. It's terrible. It's pretty bad.
I like that you mentioned that specifically, because there's that great line I think T'Challa's dad had, where he's like, I believe it's something like, you've never met a black man that couldn't be bought with a truckload of machine guns, a boat full of blondes, and a Swiss bank account.
Yep, exactly. That goes right to BET right there.
Yeah, it's a fantastic line, and especially because now diversity is such a huge thing in comic books, I think instead of getting those really annoying press releases about we're making this character black and this character woman, just make more stuff like Black Panther, and you'll automatically get a following of diverse people.
Exactly, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love that scene, though, Steve, where he tells off all the guys. And I think one of the things that... It's not only interesting because it's great character stuff and it's great world-building stuff, and it gives you even more of a sense like the kind of society that Wakanda has. Because we don't see much of just Wakanda's overall society. It's more of just the political thing. But by him saying that, you get the sense of what their social system is like. They don't have rich people. They don't have a capitalist system, obviously. They have a very socialist style system, but it actually works because they don't care about money there. They care about making sure that everyone's provided for and that everyone's safe, and that's so interesting. And I've mentioned it before, the only guy whose face we see besides the dude that's talking to T'Challa is that bald dude with a cigar, and I think it's Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. I'm 90% sure it's supposed to be Wilson Fisk, and I think that just says so much about who is at that kind of meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that scene. That's probably my favorite scene. Just because it has so much going for it. I think it's the perfect scene in the show. The only thing that's missing from it is Black Panther in the official outfit and everything. Otherwise, that's the only thing that could possibly make that better. It wouldn't make any sense, but it would make it even better.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is that scene at the very end, spoilers everyone, when T'Challa kills Claw. And he before he does this, he's coming up to him, he's like, Claw, do you have any children? And Claw's like, no, I can be useful to you. And it's like, okay, that's good, you don't have kids? I'd have, that was some cold stuff. And then he just stabs him, and he just stabs him and pulls him towards him and just looks into his eyes as he dies. That is bad.
Yeah, that was deep. Wow.
Yeah.
I really like the... I think one thing that sets T'Challa off from a lot of superheroes, including Batman, that wear the mask, in this at least, I don't know if... I haven't read enough Black Panther comics. I haven't read any Black Panther comics, and I feel bad about that now to read these. But, in this, I thought it was genius to have us see T'Challa's eyes underneath the mask. I thought that was so smart because it immediately sets him off from everyone else and makes him just his design look really different and interesting, as opposed to the classic white under the eye, white for the eyes thing.
Yeah.
My God, it's so cool. It's so cool.
Well, holy shit! It's already been an hour and 4 minutes. What the hell? Time is flying.
Yeah, time is flying, Milan. Never to be regained.
Yeah. So, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But when I first watched this, I rewatched it yesterday, and I'm I remember it being a lot longer. It's just.
Well, the thing is, you watched it for the first time recently, and then you rewatched it again relatively quickly.
I watched it back in 2012, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I watched it a couple of times before then, but recently I rewatched it and I'm like, holy crap! I guess it's because there was no ad breaks or anything, because it's all just in this one thing. But it's just, even though it's set for a episodic type of show, it really does fit both ways as an episodic show and as one cohesive whole, because they do that kind of.
It's one big story, and that really helps. something that Steve said that I thought was interesting and I didn't realize. CJ watched the version that I downloaded, so we both got it in like 10 to 12 minute clips, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like it was originally released.
Okay, so that's interesting. So it was like there's a cut out there where it's like 20-minute episodes?
Yeah, because it airs on TV as 20-minute episodes, and you can find it online in like 10-minute chunks. I'm assuming the reason it does that is because when it aired in Australia, it was in 10-minute chunks. Oh. But I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how Australian television broadcasting works.
Basically what happens is there's like a kangaroo and like a running thing, you know, and basically what you gotta do is you gotta sacrifice a sheep to the television gods, and like do a dance and, you know, drink a drink and...
See, I thought you were actually going to say something to, like, enlighten us about this. Just as a fucking kangaroo and a giant wheel. And
It's everything that you heard. It's like every, like, strange and ridiculous thing about Australia.
It's just Crocodile Dundee on air.
Exactly.
24 hours a day.
It is. It sound like forward and weird. It's just like in the U.S., we are so accustomed to making sure everything's between an hour and 30 minutes that we purposely create shows and commercials to time that zone out. And if you watch British TV, it's usually like 25-minute chunks, if not 45-minute or 55-minute. So I'm not sure if Australia has something that's similar to Britain, or if it's different altogether, or how that works.
I'm not sure. It all depends, actually.
Okay, because like in America, we dread the 5-minute gap between material. It's like half an hour next, half an hour next. It just seems to work that way.
Like, one thing that got me about this, watching it in the episodic thing, is, like I said, I love the song and the intro sequence is really cool, but watching it as 10-minute chunks, it starts to get a little annoying. Unfortunately, it really starts to, like, kind of drag on you. I'm like, God, I gotta get through all this again. And, like, each episode, little 10-minute chunk or whatever, ends on, like, a cliff note or really, like, big oh shit moment. Then you gotta get through the intro and the other thing that really made it a problem is everything opens with a previously on, and you can't really skip that part because somewhere in the previously on, without letting you know, they'll go on to the new material before the intro plays. So it's kind of hard to watch this way, and I'm kind of jealous that I didn't get to watch it in the 20-minute version.
I actually watched the 20-minute version on my big TV. I put it on my USB, and just kind of fast forwarded through the intro parts. But I just watched it as one whole thing in 20-minute bursts, and it fucking fits, and it's good. And I'm not just saying that, but I really like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't think we have talked much about that I wanted to make sure we got into before we finish, since we are kind of reaching the end here, we got to talk about the villains in this and Storm as well. So which one do you guys want to start with?
Storm has the most sexiest accent ever. Oh my god. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, I've been sitting there. I'm like, and when she opens her mouth and starts talking, I'm like, I just crawl up into a fetal position, just going like, oh god, you're so pretty. Why are you so pretty?
I like Storm's voice, and I like the way they portray her character in this. There's one weird nitpick that I'll mention, but like my main problem with Storm in this overall that like I kind of get over.
There isn't enough of her. Yeah, I know.
No, not that. But like, she's got like 2 animations. She's like a video game character, where she only does like 2 things over and over again. She either like floats there and like spreads her arms, or she kind of just floats there with like her legs closed and her arms kind of like down by her side. Otherwise, she doesn't really like move, and it's really kind of strange because you begin to realize, they really had a budget on this thing, didn't they?
I mean, that's the point of making it a motion comic instead of straight up animation.
Yeah,
you can definitely see the seams of this was supposed to be a panel.
Yeah, and sometimes it works better than others. Like, you can tell where they took their time and where they definitely just rushed it real quick. And when Storm starts fighting the zombie soldiers is when they really rushed it. But I really like Storm's character. My other, like, small nitpick thing that I just, like, it took me out of it for, like, 2.5 seconds. Storm can use Cerebro? Is that a new thing that I didn't know about, or...
No, that's
that
an established thing, actually.
Really? I've never, like, I thought only Professor X and Jean could use it.
No, what happened was Kitty Pryde altered Cerebro so people like Storm could use it. It happened in, like, probably 90s X-Men comics. Either Grant Morrison or Whedon, whenever they did their runs, they did something like that. I'm not sure where the whole place is, because I'm not an X-Men fan, but it's been in the comics before this series came out.
Okay, I just, like, in my mind, as, like, not an X-Men fan, I thought it was just no one except the, like, telepaths could use it.
Oh, no,
and
I'm with you. Yeah, I actually had to Google search that, because I was curious.
Yeah, I thought it was just lazy writing. Like, they didn't want to pay someone to come in and voice Professor X for 3 lines. But otherwise, no, I really like her in this. And the scene with T'Challa and his mother, where she's saying that he needs to get a wife, I just love the, like, way that she talked about Storm. Why don't you marry that cute little mutant girl, Aurora, or whatever her name is? Like, oh, I love, like, it's just one of those things, like I was saying about the society as a whole. They're, like, the one place that don't hate mutants, obviously. They just seem as, like, another, like group of people, and that was really cool.
Well, you know, if you have a royal offspring that can shoot lightning, you know, it adds to the myth.
That would be very useful.
Yeah, you know.
No one's going to beat him in a tournament.
Not at all.
Yeah, if only Next Avengers didn't, or whatever the Kid Avengers movie didn't suck.
Yeah, definitely so.
Like, here's my review of, or no, here's how I think they came up with the Kid Avengers film, to go off for a little bit. Hey guys, you know how in the last 2 animated Avengers movies we made the Avengers act like children? I've got an idea. Let's make an Avengers movie where the Avengers are literally children.
I don't know. I heard that was actually, like, I haven't watched it, but
it is awful.
It's really bad.
God-awful.
It makes me angry. It's so bad.
Lionsgate produced it. That should be enough for you. In any case, no, I like Storm a lot in this. Anyone else want to throw in on Storm?
I've got a cake in the oven. Oh, like
that wasn't Storm.
No, Juggernaut. When the Juggernaut is like running through.
No, we're talking about Storm.
I know,
now.
but I want to fucking say Juggernaut's running through the village, and like the soldier's like, Miss, come on, get out. It's like, I got a cake in the oven. It just crashes through. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. That
was
is
a little too silly, but it was so much fun. I gave it a pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a lot of like Nigerian like immigrants living here where I live, like, and it's just like, I just love the accent. I just like, oh god, the accent is so fun.
Yeah.
But like,
all right, back to Storm though.
Well, okay, the thing about Storm that I really like, sorry, CJ. CJ. Poor CJ is just sitting there, like,
I'm listening,
we're just.
Man, you guys are hilarious. You guys got a lot of knowledge about this stuff too, so I'm just soaking it in.
Yeah, everyone's usually quiet their first time on, but hopefully we'll get CJ back when something else.
Oh, defo.
It's interesting if we haven't scared him away. With
No, I like it, man. It's good stuff, man.
Cool, but CJ, why don't you go ahead? Did you like Storm, or were you surprised to see her in this or anything?
Storm was voiced by Jill Scott. She's like one of my favorite singers, artists, or whatever. She's like a soul singer, whatever you want to call it, like neo soul. And I think I checked it. I saw it on the credits, or either I checked it online. And she's from Philadelphia, so she doesn't have a accent at all. She did a pretty good job with her accent, actually. So yeah, I was pretty impressed by that with her.
Yeah, I really like that they used Storm and like built that relationship with T'Challa. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I didn't know about that before I watched this, that they were a couple, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I was really surprised to see her in this when she first showed up, and I love the scene where like the aide takes the phone call and he's like, "Let me put you on hold."
Yeah.
His uncle is like, I'll put her through. The second she calls back, we've been waiting 10 years for that phone call.
Waiting for a decade.
That dude gets got fine.
Yeah, I love the fact that T'Challa's family always just wants to marry him off, like marry that mutant girl. You know, it's adorable.
Steve, how about you?
Well, I guess just Storm specifically. I enjoyed her a lot. She was fun. Obviously the biggest crime is that she just wasn't in it enough, nowhere near enough. And a lot of that you can't even blame this for, because this is the run that ultimately leads to them getting married. So there's clearly more set up for her to be there. It's just they never continued it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess that's ultimately the biggest problem. There's one other problem I want to mention later on, but ultimately the thing that I don't like about this is that there's just not more. That this is clearly a series, and this is set up as just a singular motion comic. And there really needs to be some kind of payoff, or at least a second season.
I think that you could straight up adapt the comic again into a feature-length film, and it would work perfectly.
I mean, if we're getting a Black Panther movie, just base it off this. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, the motion comic was so good, but no one's heard of it, so fuck it, just do it again. I won't even be disappointed sitting in the theater. Add a couple cool scenes, and I'll be good to go, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I really want to see that that fighting style that the Black Panthers use in motion. I don't know if that's a real martial art or not, but it just seems cool. They did their best trying to animate it, and when it does work, it works. But it's just I really want to see that in motion. But one little thing that I have, it's a little nitpick, but I really wanted to I have a friend with a nephew. And he's I really want to show him this, tell my friend to show him to his nephew. But I'm it's a little bit too violent.
Yeah.
Besides, if if you take certain scenes out, it would just be perfect. PG-13, sure, a 12-year-old kid can see it. But I'm yeah, some parts of it are just
Tell them the story you were telling me this morning.
Oh yeah, I was watching the first couple episodes. Well, the first episode and the first part, and I'm oh, they're in the, they're about to take over. It's not going to be too bad. And I'm sitting there watching with my 2-year-old daughter, and first thing that happened, the guy steps on that the mine. It was like a mine, but it wasn't. And the booby trap with the panther claws. And she's just oh, I'm up. So I cut it off. I'm there's no way. I didn't see that coming. I didn't know it was going to be that intense right off. So I had to postpone Black Panther for a second. Yeah, little kids shouldn't watch that. You at least have to be at least 12. At least 12 or 13. I think 12 is too young, but other than that, it's all right.
Yeah, the violence in this is probably a little overdone, but I don't care. It's still so cool. It just gives it that cool factor to me. Yeah. It's like Tarantino making a blaxploitation film, kinda.
Yep.
It's got that level of tone to it to me. It's what if Tarantino made a legit blaxploitation film as opposed to Django Unchained?
Yep.
Anyway,
that's really weird that you say that too. Because if I remember right, the guy who wrote this, Reginald Hudlin, was a producer on Django Unchained.
Oh, cool.
It kind of reminded me of that. I was going to say that earlier. It reminded me in a certain way, just on how they have this one black character, not even with race, but just one very strong, very skilled, very just I don't know. He was a warrior, a very strong warrior that was unstoppable. But in this case, Django was just one guy, but this was passed down in the family with Black Panther. But still, it kind of reminded me of that with him avenging his father, and I know with Django it was more of his wife or whatever. He was basically getting revenge on everyone. But
yeah,
that's what it reminded me of a little bit, but not too much, but just a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go for the one complaint thing I had with just the overall tone of this is just there's this one moment where I know they're trying to be badass, but it gets just a little too silly for me. And it's when Claw is trying to take over the Wakandan security network.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Panther starts reprogramming the network while riding his motorcycle through the air. I'm all right, fine, whatever. It's comic books, whatever. But they have that guy, the dude with the big bush thing around his head or whatever, and he goes, he's programming while flying through a war zone. He's the Black Panther. I was oh,
yeah,
I love that. Like,
I could have sworn you were going to mention, like, the magic hacking ability Panthers.
Oh my god.
Well, that too, but like I could get over that. But it's just that like they tried to give it like he's Batman moment, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, that should
It
be a
just
fucking
made me
meme.
laugh.
Let's go ahead.
He's the Black Panther.
Oh,
He's driving while eating McDonald's, and they're talking on the phone. He's the Black Panther.
Oh, I love it. That should be a meme. Just like from now on, it's just like, oh god, I
gotta say, it's nowhere near as cool as he's Batman, or I'm Batman. But still, it was pretty funny. I like that moment. Just they really tried, and I could tell it was like an earnest attempt to be badass. And so much of the series is badass, but that moment it was too much. It just got me. I guess that actually leads me into the only like story structure complaint I have with this, which is so T'Challa's sister is trapped in the mine, and he defeats the Black Knight and decides to go over to Nagata or whatever the name of the country is, the neighboring country, and beat up the dictator there,
Nambutu.
Nambutu. Yeah. And then while he's beating the shit out of him, he gets the call from Claw, and we get the really cool situation with, like, take a knife and kill yourself. And I loved his response to that and everything. But it was a little bit of a contrivance to get him out of Wakanda for a while to give Claw some time, which I guess it makes sense with T'Challa's character overall, but his main focus in this whole thing is getting a hold of Claw. And he kind of, like, circumvents that, because we have that really cool moment where, Wakanda's being attacked, and they look at him, it's like, we're going to be overwhelmed. He's like, no, this is a good thing. All my enemies are in one place. And then he leaves that one place that all his enemies are in. Mm-hmm. And that's slightly problematic to me, because it does, like, even though the scene is badass where he goes, what, you'll kill my mom anyway, you'll destroy my country anyway, why would I kill myself? Like, that was really cool. But at the same time, it is a little bit of a contrivance. Anyone want to throw in there?
Yeah, you're right. It definitely is. But I think it's excusable in that this story doesn't take those kinds of shortcuts very often, if ever. So it's fair enough. You can throw it under the bus. It's not so problematic because it doesn't ruin his character. It doesn't lead to anything bad. And I feel like even if he didn't leave, most of that situation would have stayed the same anyway.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is
flying through the air and reprogramming a security system.
I mean, I still want to know how you program attack Panthers on your computer, but that's
I gotta figure that out too. That's a really good antivirus software.
Easy, like fuck Norton, just get those. There is one issue I wanted to talk about really quick, and I'm not sure if you guys will agree with this. I really love John Romita Jr.'s art. He's one of my favorite artists. He's great. He's fantastic.
Ditto.
His art does not work as a motion comic.
I disagree.
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of moments in this very specifically where you can see the seams of this is very clearly supposed to be a panel. And, yeah, his designs are good, but it seems like it would have been so much easier for them to animate it if they just picked a different design. This doesn't have to be a motion comic. You get a different art style and it works substantially better. There's a lot of moments where you see, like, these characters' hands and stuff move, and Romita Jr. is kind of known for doing lots of lines on arms and faces and such, and these lines have to compress on top of each other, and it just doesn't look good.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it show much more than I think it does. Because, like, I think the opening scene, like, I remember the animation being very choppy, and then when I first watched the opening scene, I'm like, oh no, that's actually really good. And then, like, as it goes on, like, oh yeah, there we go.
And I only say this because, like, I've seen motion comics of, like, Iron Man Extremis, I've seen Astonishing X-Men, John Cassidy's art on that, and when you get a smooth art, it doesn't matter that it's a motion comic, you can be engrossed. But I think part of our problem with getting into this is not just that it's a motion comic, it's that the art is not built to be motion.
Okay. Fair enough.
I kind of disagree because at first I would have agreed with you, but I kind of like the blocky look of it. Like, of course, you get John Romita Jr.'s art, like, in motion and whatever, and I love John Romita Jr., but it kind of becomes a style all on its own. It fits for me somehow. I don't know, maybe it's just of my broken mind, but it just kind of, I don't know, like, the blocky feel kind of adds a certain level of, I don't know, not tribalism, but there's a certain, like, I don't know, it kind of fits with the character, I think. And
I don't think the blockiness is the problem necessarily. It's just like John Romita Jr. is kind of Jack Kirby in that his art conveys the motion well enough. To add physical motion on top of the artificial motion takes away from the piece as artwork.
Okay. CJ, you want to throw in on the art at all?
Just because I liked the whole series so much, I was paying attention to the art, but I kind of liked it. I mean, I'm not as big on art and the motion. I mean, I know it was like a motion comic, so I wasn't really paying attention to it that much. But I liked it, honestly. I mean, maybe it was just because I was so drawn into the story. I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but, I mean, I'll probably have to go back and watch it again, but I didn't have a problem with it too much.
Yeah, for me, it just kind of, like, leaves my head after a while. And there are moments where it's more noticeable. Like I said, with Storm, it's kind of distracting, because it's like a video game character.
Yeah.
They only have 3 or 4 set motions that they can do with her. And, like, I'm not sure if it's a budget thing or if they just seriously just ran out of, like, time or what, or just got lazy. I don't know. It's just, sometimes it's more noticeable than others, but overall, I like the art style. So I think you're kind of the only, you're the outline voice on this one, I guess, Steve.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I still kind of hold to it, though, because it's just from, like, a structural art perspective, I don't think it works, but okay.
Oh, no, you're perfectly entitled to your opinion. Like I said, Steve, I brought you on because you're the most interesting person at being wrong I've ever met.
This is sort of becoming a pattern.
I
really like T'Challa's sister, Suri. I might like.
She doesn't get enough to do.
Yeah. I remember her like when I first saw the series. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess it's because it was an episodic thing, but once I watched it all together, like, she does essentially Darth Maul radioactive man with like a black with this like obsidian sword and all. That's cool, but like.
Oh, is that what it's supposed to be made out of?
Obsidian, something like that. I don't know. But it's.
I thought it was like adamantium or something. I don't know.
Vibranium, probably.
Vibranium.
Well, where would they get vibranium?
It's
I don't know. Yeah.
Where? What do you mean? Where would they get vibranium? It's Wakanda.
No, the sword. No, the sword was the Knights.
Was it the Knights?
Yeah, it fell from the sky into the mine.
Oh, right, okay.
So I assumed it was adamantium. Anyway, no, she was kind of like I liked her in some episodes, and then she felt like a completely different character in others. And the stuff in the mine was interesting, but I guess the problem I had with it was we get the sense in the first episode, or not, is it the first with the tournament? I can't remember. Anyway, we get the sense in the tournament episode that if she had gotten onto the into the ring first, then she would be the Black Panther because she's that good.
Not really.
And then she spends I mean that's the sense we get from it is that she's supposed to be good enough to actually do it, and that like T'Challa took it from her basically, and then we get the scene we get the scenes rather in the mine. And she becomes almost helpless for the longest time. I'm like, this doesn't work for me. Something's not lining up here properly.
I don't completely agree with what you're saying there, mostly because I think the point of her not getting into the ring is not that she would have been able to beat the Black Panther and get the title instead of T'Challa. It's that she thinks she could have done it. And that she clearly wasn't mature enough for that. And that's kind of why she panics at the end, because when she faces the real danger, when she's in the real situation and not just talking about it, it's a much different thing.
Yeah.
So, CJ, you wanted to say so.
I think it was a good reason she didn't get into the ring. She probably got destroyed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, probably, but I guess it's just that it's a different character, not necessarily that she would have won, but if she thinks she would have won, I don't know, I guess I'm bothered by the fact that she got afraid of the radioactive man as much as she did. And to be fair, she is, trying to, take him out behind the scenes and stuff, it's just not working.
Yeah.
So I don't know. She was kind of hit and miss with me. I like that she was really scientific. I didn't like that the family just dismissed her. Oh, you're a scientist, huh? You've only been going to university for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, really? Come on, guys.
They put her down a lot in that, kind of. Even when she was running into the ring, they told her, like, you don't have enough training. I don't know who said it. It was like, you're not done training yet. Don't do it. You know.
Yeah, it was her
brother, right? Cousin.
Yeah, well,
cousin.
I don't know. I didn't think she was put down that much. I kind of like she was like I just kind of really like the brother sister thing they had. You know, like how they were training, and T'Challa's like, you know, can I trust you? Like, yeah, I need people that I can trust on the court. And she's like, yeah, like. And she's like, what are you gonna do if I, you know, do something? She's like, I'll do something bad. She's like, oh, what are you gonna do? I'll tell Mother. And she's like, oh no, you don't.
I'll tell Mom. Oh hell no. What are you gonna do? Exile me? No, something worse. I'll tell Mom. That was good.
Oh, shame.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the villains real quick before we wrap up. I absolutely love Claw. He was such a good villain. There was so much that worked about it. Again, the computer hacking thing, a little silly, but at least they made it like trippy enough that it was entertaining to watch. But like, he's got one of the coolest like contrivance superpowers ever. It's just whatever you need the hand to do, it can do, which is pretty useful. And when he chops off the uncle's foot, that was pretty badass. He was just a really cool character. It was really fun to see, like, you know, just a really cool, intimidating bad guy that I've never heard of before.
He's actually a fantastic. Well, actually, he's one of the Black Panther's villains. I went back and looked at it, some of the old Jack Kirby stuff, and essentially when the Fantastic Four first meet the Black Panther, they're fighting Claw because Claw is apparently like one of Black Panther's, you know, one of his rogues gallery. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And they kind of updated
nice.
him.
He's just a really cool character in this. I really like the portrayal that they went with for him.
And I like the fact that they confirmed my suspicion that all Belgian people are just secretly evil.
Milan's long-held suspicion.
Oh, yeah. Them Belgians, you can't trust them.
And I also really liked all the stuff they brought in with, like, God, Steve, you said Juggernaut was added to this?
Yeah.
He was perfect. Oh my God, he was so much fun.
No,
I'm the Juggernaut, punk.
I know, you could tell they wanted to say it, but they just couldn't get away with it. I was like, oh, come on.
I don't know how they can't get away with saying bitch, and they could get away with all of that blood.
Yeah.
Especially on BAT.
And I mean, we had a little kid with glass
no
through his face. Come on.
The rating system makes no sense. No, but that was so much fun. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Like, oh my God, that was so... And then when he fucking killed the rhino.
That was awesome, by the way. I love that part.
It's like, the French guy, like, tells him off for being an asshole, but at the same time, I mean, if you were the Juggernaut, if you had that power, tell me you wouldn't want to do that. Oh, that was so cool. It reminded me of, what's that old John Travolta movie where he plays an angel? Michael, I think it's called. There's this John Travolta movie where he plays an angel, and, like, no one thinks he's an angel. They all think he's actually crazy, but then he goes into, like, he's in a field, and there's a bull, and he just charges at the bull, and they, like, butt heads. The bull sits its ass down. Bull's like, damn. So that was really fun. It reminded me a lot of that. It was a really fun scene, and, like, I can totally see the justification for putting Juggernaut in instead of the rhino. Oh. Anyway, and then the French villain, meh. He was good comic relief, I suppose.
Yeah, he was Batroc. Not Batroc's best work, but you know, he was enjoyable.
Yeah. And then what else? There was Radioactive Man, who I guess turned into like a horror movie villain at the end. Oh, actually, here's an interesting thought I had related to that. So, were this to get a season 2, Does Wakanda no longer have vibranium?
No, it still has it. There was just like a tiny,
No, but they say that he's changed the subatomic particles of vibranium.
Oh, he didn't change it. He somehow played with it a little bit, but like he didn't change anything. He didn't.
No. They say that he altered the atomic structure of vibranium.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But if you alter the atomic structure of something so that it collapses, which is the thing vibranium's not supposed to do, then I'd assume that it would not be vibranium anymore.
I gotta check that. Like I'm currently on Comixology. I'm just downloading. Once I have some money, I'm just putting it all on my wish list. So I'm gonna check this series out because it's like, God, if this is the type of quality I could expect from Black Panther, holy shit, yes, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's just that's an interesting thought I had. It's just like if he changed the subatomic structure of vibranium, then does that mean Wakanda doesn't have vibranium anymore? That's fascinating.
It's an interesting question because I haven't read enough to know what happens to the vibranium, but it's still there right now in the comics, so something must happen in between.
Yeah, but I mean, it's comics. They always reboot. Even if they don't say they're going to, they always get back to formula. Back to formula. Anyway, so I assume that they had to eventually, but for a while there, that'd be a really interesting dynamic with the politics. What happens to Wakanda when it no longer has the rarest resource in the universe, in the world?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah. Radioactive Man, he was okay. I guess I liked him more when he had toilet problems.
He was Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other big villain in this was besides the United States government was the hooker
cannibal.
Cannibal, thank you. I thought that God, they set up such an interesting sequel plot too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one interesting thing about the G.I. Joe movie that made me actually want to watch the sequel. And it's the exact same problem here. Where it's damn it, they set up something really fucking interesting, and now I'm never going to get to see it.
Yeah.
They actually made a G.I. Joe sequel.
I know, but I'm not going to watch it. I refuse.
Oh, why?
But it's one thing that makes me want to watch it is the cliffhanger they leave at the end of the first movie with the president being replaced by Christopher Eccleston.
Voldemort as president. No.
Yeah, sure.
Or is it I don't know, they all fucking those British people, god damn it.
It's Christopher Eccleston's the doctor.
Oh, it's the doctor one. Sorry, it's the nose. It's fucking nose. You know?
Anyway, no, I thought that was a really cool scene. A really cool plot to get someone in there that can really fuck with the politics. Though I guess they kind of chose the wrong person because T'Challa already doesn't trust him.
That's true.
I love that scene where he's like, "Well, you're gonna send him to the UN. That's one of our most powerful positions. Yes, but he'll be away." That was great.
Yeah, that was cool.
Anyone else want to throw in on Cannibal?
He's yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't really have much.
No, I have nothing. I just make noises. Go ahead.
I don't have any coherent thoughts there, but you're right. It does demand a bit of a sequel. It's kind of the Young Justice thing of you end on a cliffhanger, and it's really obviously leading to something bigger and better, but obviously we weren't going to get it.
Yeah.
That I think Cannibal was one of the villains that had a lot of background development, and it was clearly building to something. And I don't want to punish this piece for not paying it off because obviously there is more to the story. But because we aren't going to get a sequel, and because there is nothing, and it is its own finished final product, it does kind of stem as a problem.
I don't know if it's a problem. It's seriously, it's setting up for more, and you want more, and it's not its fault that it's not getting more.
Yeah.
The story itself ends, but there's a subplot that doesn't get wrapped up because they didn't want to wrap it up there.
Well,
so it's,
you got.
I don't know if you could call it a problem because it's I guess a problem has to be unintentional, right?
It doesn't have to be unintentional, but it's got to contribute in some larger way to make the whole not work.
Yeah.
And it's not like the whole doesn't work. It's just Cannibal takes up a lot of screen time every episode. Well, not a lot, but like there's a presence of that character every episode, and the fact that it doesn't go anywhere is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, but you can still read the comics, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Me too.
Yeah.
It is only.
I'm going to find the trades on Amazon or eBay or something.
Just get them off Comixology. You can just download.
No, I don't like digital comics. Fuck you and your digital comics.
These are so good.
Really helpful.
They are. You know, I saved so much space in my house thanks to those. It's like.
Well, I'm getting an apartment, so there.
Oh, you and your self-dependence.
CJ, did you want to say anything about Cannibal?
I like you guys said, the ending made me want more, and it just didn't happen. So I was kind of upset about it. Not upset, but I mean, I was anxious, and it didn't happen. So that's about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it. Does anyone have anything else they wanted to make sure we got into?
Jack Kirby created the Black Panther, which and weirdly enough, like don't worry, I'm not gonna get into it. It's don't worry about it. Also,
well, I mean, the history of Jack Kirby. I'll give the abbreviated version. So Jack Kirby, being one of the godfathers of comic books, in the golden age, like drew a bunch of the really racist, stupid shit that comics were like originally known for, particularly Japanese and black people, and he felt really bad about drawing that and didn't want to be remembered for it. So he created Black Panther as an apology, and it's a really good way to apologize.
Yeah, it really is.
Not really that. He came up with he actually did like 10 or 16 issues of like a Black Love comic book back in the 1950s.
Oh.
Like he did. Yeah, I actually seen some of those, and they didn't go anywhere because they didn't want to print it. The company didn't want to print it. But the fucking pencils are actually pretty fucking good. It's really good art, and it's and considering back then they didn't draw black people all that good, but Jack Kirby really did not do that well. He fucking did it. But if you manage to find some of those on Google Images or whatever, just check them out. Those are just some of the penciling art of that is just pretty good.
Yeah, this makes me want to read more Black Panther.
Yeah.
Not only this run, but I want to read some of the original Kirby stuff.
I actually have some of the original Kirby stuff, in a box somewhere.
Yeah, this just makes me want to get into it because it's just so fucking cool. It's one of those things that Marvel's really good at, but just building these, when they do something that's not in New York City, it's almost always amazing. Because everything in Marvel takes place in New York City, but when they finally go outside of it, you get some really interesting things. And I wanted to just make this really quick reference to an older episode. So a couple months ago, we did an episode on Kirby Crackle's Top 20 Geekiest Hits, and they have this song called Marvelous Girls, and one of the lines in it is, "Hey, Wakandan girl, how's your kingdom? Ruled by a guy that dresses up like a panther." That's kind of weird. So that's just one of those natural exports like vibranium make you richer than any other nation. It's just one of those cool little things. I got it at the time, but it makes me appreciate it more now. But anyway, I think that's about it for Black Panther. God, this is a good ass series. So let's go ahead and do a score. CJ, I forgot to tell you about this, so we'll let you go last.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this 4.5 out of 5. Cures for cancer that is not being shared with the world. Steve, how about you?
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 really dickish, polarizing Captain Americas.
Milan? Milan?
I give this 4.5 out of 5 decapitated Nazi heads on spikes.
Ouch. It's a good thing we did a whole episode on Nazis.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh, yeah, we did. Fucking Nazis, bro. Shit.
Yeah. All right, how about you, CJ?
4.5 out of 5. Now just come up with a title, right?
Yeah, just like something from the show.
Little kids should stay away from glass.
Oh, Jesus
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. CJ's got that whole thing.
Oh.
CJ's got this like really personal,
Yeah, I
like
do.
you're a broken glass.
I don't like glass.
Which, like, I totally didn't think about that while we were talking about the dead child. But yeah, so like CJ works at possibly the worst location you could possibly work at with a phobia of broken glass, which is Goodwill, where shit just breaks randomly because no one gives a damn because a lot of the stuff we get is crap, so we'll just throw it in carts and just shatter. So yeah, that's a nice little thought. I forgot about that.
Cool.
I think it's hilarious that we're talking about a phobia of glass, because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, no one ever gets hurt by glass, and it's just breaking left and right all the time.
Right?
That's true.
Just in every movie, there's absurd amounts of broken glass, and no one ever gets cut.
That's very true.
There's this I have this movie. I might have to let you borrow it, CJ. It's called The Protector, because I know you like those kung fu movies and stuff.
Yeah.
There's this really cool scene where these guys on a motorcycle are chasing the main character, and he gets like, it looks like he's about to be cornered because there's some shipping containers, and then there's just this huge pane of glass, and the motorcycle's like bearing down on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he does a Prince of Persia, and he runs up the glass, does a backflip, and the motorcycle goes underneath him and breaks through the glass wall. It was really cool. That just entered my brain. Really amazing shot. Anyway, so everyone, thank you for listening. Steve, what are we talking about next time?
All right, so next time we are talking about pop culture and academia. Probably mostly comic books, but trying to cover the whole spectrum of just studying pop culture as an academic field, as giving it the principles of whatever scientific methods or philosophical precedent or whatever, and just injecting it into things that we enjoy and how that's changed over time.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right, everyone, so thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm the philosopher.
I'm the politician.
And I am the madman.
And I don't have a name yet, so go ahead.
Okay. And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing